Hi, I'm Dan Tillman.
I'm Chad Blank.
And I'm Mary Tillman, and we are Team Tillman.
This week on Tuesday Tips with Team Tillman, we're here to answer many of the common questions we hear from our buyers. As always, if you don't answer a question that you may have, feel free to reach out to us.
I'd like to buy a house. What should I do first?
That's a great question. First thing I would suggest is get a really good realtor, and that's going to set you up for success. How is a realtor going to do that? Well, they're going to connect you with a good lender, and the lender is going to help you with getting your credit score, finding out how much money you can afford to buy a house with. Also, they're going to talk to you about the fees involved, and they're also going to tell you some of the resources that they have in order to offset some of those fees. The one thing that you don't want to do is go out and start looking for a house without knowing what you can afford. The problem's going to be is that you're going to be pretty disappointed when you do find a house and find out that you can't afford it, or you do find out eventually what you can afford, and unfortunately that house is no longer on the market. The other thing is that they're going to do is they're going to set you up on MLS, an MLS search. It's going to come via email, and it's going to have all your criteria and all of the things that you are looking for, beds and baths and 2-car, 1-car attached garage and whatnot, and it's going to come to you directly. You can look at the pictures, look at the information, and decide, hey, I'd like to look at this house. Contact the realtor. The unique thing about what Team Tillman does is we offer our buyer $1,000 towards their closing costs, and that's another way that we can help you become successful.
I have student loan or other debt. Can I still buy a home?
Of course you can. And actually, when I bought my very first house, I had a bunch of student debt as well. Now, it's very important because debt does come into consideration on how much of a house you can afford. When you buy a house, one of the first people you meet, other than your realtor, will be with a mortgage lender. They'll go through your credit report, and they'll talk to you something about debt to income ratio. So what that means is you can only have so much debt payment, including a mortgage payment, as a ratio of your overall income. So if you have a lot of debt, it may limit how much a house you may have, but to be able to find the right answer and how much house you can afford, or if you can afford a house, the best option is to sit with a mortgage lender. And here at Team Tillman, we have a wonderful partnership with mortgage lenders that we can refer you to.
I'm afraid of multiple offers. Is it even worth trying?
Absolutely, you should try when you're in a multiple offer situation. A good realtor is a great negotiator, and many times the price is not the top priority. One of the jobs of the buyer's realtor is trying to figure out what is important to the seller, because that's what you want to target, and that's where you want to win the multiple offer. Another thing is the way you write the offer. There's several strategies that can position a buyer above other people that are submitting an offer. So knowing those strategies, knowing how to put them in there, can really help you win a multiple offer. The other thing that could help you is getting non-MLS listings. What that means, those listings haven't hit the market yet. They're not on Zillow or Realties, any of those things. So we have a network where we get listings before they hit the market, and sometimes we can get you into those homes so you can see them before anybody else sees them. We have a couple other strategies that can get you into homes before they hit the market too, through marketing, some of our marketing strategies. So Team Tillman would love to help you in those multiple offers. Many of our buyers have been successful, and they have not always been the top bidder on a multiple offer.
How much cash do I need to buy a house?
That's a wonderful question and a very important question. There are numerous things that are going to cost money throughout the transaction. One, when you get a mortgage, there's going to be closing fees associated with that mortgage. There's going to be fees to pay to the county, the state, potentially to the city. You're going to have to prepay some fees, for example, for property taxes, as well as for insurance. On top of that, there are going to be some miscellaneous things that may come up. Some lenders make you prepay for the appraisal, or they charge you a fee to lock in a rate. Also, usually we recommend that buyers get a home inspection and you have to pay for an inspector up front. Now this may sound like a lot, but don't worry, there is some solutions that we have for this. First of all, for the closing costs and for the down payment, which the down payments will vary depending on what type of program or type of mortgage you get and how much of a house you're looking for, but it can go be as low as 3% or 3.5%. Here in Minnesota, we do have some programs for first-time home buyers that can bring that down to just $1,000 in some situations. If you're not a first-time home buyer in the state of Minnesota, there are some programs too that help with the down payment and closing cost. And that's something that the lender will talk with you to go through what you qualify for and the options that are available. The other thing is here at Team Tillman, we do offer a $1,000 credit towards your closing if you use a participating lender and you close with Team Tillman. And that can go towards any of your closing costs. But remember that it is important to remember you do have to bring money to the table. One other thing that a lot of people don't realize is something that's called earnest money. What earnest money is, when you sign a contract to purchase a house, you're signing a legal contract stating that you will purchase a house, and in theory, the sellers can hold you legally liable to buy their house. Now, if you're trying to buy a house and you decide to go back out of it for no reason and outside of the contingencies, which when you work with a realtor, they'll explain the contingencies when you write the offer, and you said, I don't want to buy the house, you're kind of putting the sellers in a bad position. One, they took it off the market, they didn't market it to anybody while you were going through the process of closing. Two, they've been paying costs while this house has been sitting on the market, and they may have lost some potential buyers. So in theory, what they could do is take you to court, sue you, and force you to buy the house. That normally isn't cost effective and normally doesn't work. So that's where earnest money comes in. You put down some earnest money in which states, if I do not buy this house outside the contingencies, then the seller can keep that earnest money. Now you don't lose that earnest money though if you do buy the house. That thing goes towards your down payment, goes towards your closing costs. So you need some money up front when you write the offer. We usually suggest right around 1 to 2% of the price that will go towards for the earnest money. But again, that's something that can be negotiated, and talk with your realtor about what's the best for you.
How much money do I have to pay my realtor?
You know, I get so excited when my buyers or our buyers ask us that question, because it seems like there's always a fee for something, right? Well, the good news is you don't pay a realtor a penny to help you find a house. And then you think, well then, my goodness, why are you doing this charity work? Well, not really. So what happens is there is a listing agent. That is the agent that puts the house on the market and says it's for sale, right? And the seller pays that listing agent a commission. Then when we, or a realtor, brings a buyer to that house, that listing agent will share that commission with the buyer's realtor. Now what's really kind of unique about this situation, even though the money is coming from the listing agent, a realtor's fiduciary duty is to the buyer. What does that mean? It means confidentiality. We do what's in your best interest. We don't share information with that listing agent about the buyer that they don't need to know. We set you up for success so we can negotiate in your best interest. So the really good news is it's zero. You pay your realtor zero.
How do I know there isn't something wrong with the house before I buy it?
Well, that's a very frightening and very high concern question that a lot of buyers have. Am I making the right choice on a house, and is it sound and going to last a long time for me? We, as a good realtor, we also partner with a good home inspector. And what a home inspector does, they come in, they book time for about 4 hours to go through a house, every single corner, up and down in the attic, in the crawl spaces, etc. And they check plumbing, they check electrical, they check heat. They make sure that any questions that you may have on a house, they have the answers. So what they'll do is invite you the last hour that they're there to go over some of these things, and also I would encourage that the realtor is there as well to work with you and help you through that process. So let's say you have something that's a list of items that are questionable that you want to go towards to the seller side and ask them to repair them. Or maybe there's something that's so major that the inspector discovered that is just way too much for you to handle. You can do a few things here. You can walk away from this whole house and start over, get your earnest money back, or you can certainly ask the seller to fix these or pay for some of these items to get done, or you can actually get into a there might be escrow accounts that you can put the money into to help with this, or you can ask the seller to pay for some of these as well. And then also, Team Tillman offers a home warranty. Well, what does a home warranty do? A home warranty will insure for the next year, from the date of closing till 1 year following, an insurance policy. It costs about $550 to actually cover and insure all the appliances as well as all the mechanicals, like the water heater, the furnace, the central air conditioning unit, as well as all the appliances. Or you can ask the seller if they would be interested in paying that. So if that's the case and the seller does pay it, so you've heard us talk about the $1,000 that we offer as a buyer bonus, that part of that $1,000 can actually go towards the $550 or whatever it costs for the home warranty. It's a great value. It gives you peace of mind of a house that you're going to buy, and in the event that something breaks down in the house, that for that 1 year you don't have to worry about it. It's all taken care of. Thanks for watching Tuesday Tips with Team Tillman.
We hope we got all of your questions answered.
And if we didn't answer your question, or would like to set up a meeting with any one of us, as always, it's a no pressure situation. Feel free to reach out to us either through the messenger button below. You can find us on Facebook at Team Tillman MN, or you can go online at teamtillmanmn.com. There you'll be able to find a quick bio of all of us. There's a form there you can fill out to reach out to us, as well as find our emails and phone numbers.
Look for us next week for another Tuesday Tips with Team Tillman.